Today on the Ask Brady Show, I reveal the most ethically questionable thing that I've ever done online. Well, hey there! And welcome to the Ask Brady Show, episode number 54. We've got 4 great questions from the people of Pro Church Nation, and I'm joined pinch hitting for Roxanne, who's got the week off, the man with the cam, Alex Mills.
Thanks. It's not really as special as it sounds because I work here, but I'm here.
Behind the camera, the editing wizard himself, Joe Nex. All right, Alex, why don't you take us away with the first question?
Well, the first question is from Shanna, and she says, do you have any suggestions of what content should be posted for churches in the 3-post Instagram strategy? Do you have a suggestion of how to store or categorize your hashtags for the Instagram post? Thanks so much.
Thanks for the question, Shanna. The question that Shanna is asking is pertaining to a Pro Church Daily episode. We did episode number 16, the 3X Instagram strategy for churches in 2018.
Right.
The thesis of that episode, if you haven't seen it, of course, if you want, go watch it. Episode 16, go listen to it, is basically that if you post on Instagram 3 times more than you are already, for instance, if you're posting once a day, if you up that to 3 times a day, you will see 3x followers, engagement on your Instagram profile simply because of the algorithm. That's the way it's gonna work. We've got some case studies within that actual episode. Shanna's follow-up question: what should I actually post? And this gets a little bit into the philosophy behind social media for churches. I like to start with this simple question: what would your church post online if your Sunday service didn't exist?
Yeah.
And the reason that I ask that question is to force a thought exercise for you and your ministry, not to simply use social media as an extension of what you're doing on Sunday, promoting the upcoming series, promoting an event, join this ministry, sign up for this. Instead, what you want to do is look at your church's vision or mission statement, and this is the same for pretty much every church. Every church vision or mission statement can be distilled down to the Great Commission and or the Greatest Commandment, some combination therein of the two. And ask yourself, how can we accomplish this mission and vision using social?
Yeah.
Because that's what you're doing with a Sunday service, right?
Right.
This is our mission or vision. We think the best way to accomplish that is with teaching from the Bible, worship, and meeting together for community. Well, how can you accomplish that same mission and vision using a different medium? A medium that isn't restricted to 1 hour of the week, but instead can be leveraged within the full 167 hours beyond your Sunday service. And so there are a couple of different post archetypes that I like to see churches give a try, and I want to explain those right now. The first is a countdown post. And what's really cool about this post, something that I've been thinking about a lot lately, and I don't even think I've shared it yet, this is the first time, is I saw a Facebook account called The Unveiled Wife do this. And The Unveiled Wife is a subscriber to Storytape, our stock video platform. And what they did was they took a bunch of stock video from our platform. I think in particular they took a video of somebody praying.
Yep.
And they put this 30 or 60 second counter on top of it. And the post call to action was simply, hey, take 60 seconds and pray for your spouse.
Yeah, I love this one.
It was this amazing use of social media. Wasn't promoting something. Wasn't saying, hey, check this other thing out. It was accomplishing the mission and vision of this platform natively on Facebook.
Of course.
If you're scrolling through your Facebook feed and you see that, it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to take these 60 seconds and stop for a moment because I'm moving through my busy day and things are moving super quickly. I'm going to stop for a moment and I'm going to dedicate some time and pray for my spouse.
Yeah.
So you can do this with prayer. You can do this with meditation. Mm-hmm. You can do this with contemplation. You could say, take 30 seconds and just be 100% still and silent. Mm-hmm. You could say, take 60 seconds and really meditate on these words from Jesus. You know, like take my burden upon you. My yoke is easy and my burden is light.
Yeah.
Just like take 60 seconds and really think about that. If you're carrying baggage today, just meditate on that verse. And because it's a video, it's going to get a little bit of extra organic reach from the social platforms. It's going to be dynamic, and it also adheres to another social media strategy that we talk a lot about, stop the scroll.
Yeah.
It's unusual. It looks different than the other items and
course.
posts within a user's feed. They're going to be more likely to stop. So that's one post that I love, the countdown post that you can try. Again, it's a post that is leveraging social media to accomplish your church's mission and vision. Likely you're trying to create disciples.
Right.
You're trying to create a people that loves God, loves people, and serves the world. And one of the best ways to do that is the spiritual disciplines,
Yeah.
the spiritual practices. That is a beautiful example of taking a timeless tradition, a timeless element of the Christian faith, and translating it into a timely medium. And at the end of the day, this is everything that we are trying to accomplish on social media.
For sure.
Another great post that you can try is a trivia post. So we're recording this in the middle of the 2018 Pyeongchang Winter Olympics.
Yep.
And the Winter Olympics are the type of worldwide event that brings everyone together. I got a notification on my phone, not a push notification, mind you, but I got a notification on my phone this morning, Canada had won its first gold medal of the 2018 Olympics. And I cared about that. And it was in downhill mogul skiing,
Yeah.
which I do not care about. But it was a Canadian winning gold at the Olympics. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And as we're recording this is going to come back to bite me. The Canadians are in fourth, and the Americans are in fifth. So for this shining moment,
Yeah.
we'll take it.
Yeah.
But the point is that you can do a trivia and base it around a current event. Oscars are coming up. You could do it then. Hey, post your answer below. The person that guests closest is going to win a free t-shirt from our church or something. Be like, what was the most gold medals that the USA ever won at the Winter Olympics? Which one was it at? And then people start guessing. Oh, I think it was Sochi. Or, oh, I think it was
Right.
Vancouver,
There you go.
and they start guessing below. And this is why this type of post is so important. It leverages the exact thing that Mark Zuckerberg and the other social platforms are trying to create on social. Meaningful interaction. Not just your church
Right.
promoting, not just your church saying, check out all our cool stuff, but creating interaction and engagement on a social platform. These are the types of posts that you're going to need to start shifting towards if you want to keep organic reach high
Yeah.
and keep people engaging with your platform with all of these new algorithm updates within this year of 2018. And just to stop before any objections of, well, that's not really a spiritual type of post. Think about a small group at your church. Even if your small group curriculum is based around a Francis Chan
classic.
speaking curriculum, do you think and do you want every single thing that happens at that small group to be quote unquote spiritual? If Alex and I attend the same small group, and we're going through the Francis Chan curriculum, and we're answering the questions, and we're praying together at the end, are you disappointed when we start talking about the Olympics?
Yeah,
Is
right.
that considered unspiritual? Because in my mind, that's community being built.
Right.
And one of the best ways to do this on social is to gather people around a common current event.
Right.
Everyone cares about the Olympics. People care about the Oscars. If your local sports team is doing great, people care about that.
Yep.
These are the types of things that you can gather and rally people around.
For sure.
We do video announcements for churches. The number of churches that when their team in the NFL is in the playoffs
Yes.
and Super Bowl
Yeah.
literally stop church or cancel it
Yeah.
or extend it for the purpose of watching the big game. And I'm all for that. Leverage a huge event that the community,
Yeah.
church, and citywide community can rally around. And you can do this on social through trivia questions, through any type of question. Just try not to make it the key here. Try not to make it too heavy. If you want people to respond, and that's what you're trying to accomplish with a post like this, you don't want it to be super heavy when it comes to don't be like, hey, what's your biggest struggle right now? Ain't nobody answering that on Facebook in a
Right.
public forum.
Right.
That's why if you want to promote meditation, prayer, contemplation, do something that's a little more self-serving, self-directed
Right.
with that countdown timer. Ask a question that's fun, that's likely to get answered. Something like, hey, we're in the middle of winter. What's your favorite winter activity with your family? Right now, my daughter and my dad, they're together at the swimming pool. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe you live in a place where there's snow. You love snowboarding. You love skiing. Maybe you're the person that won that gold medal that I was talking about.
Yeah.
Or maybe you live, in Phoenix and you're like, man, I'm just glad it's not 9,000 degrees like it is in the
Yeah,
summer.
yeah.
And that's how you gain interaction.
Yeah.
So that's my answer, Shannon. Do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I love what you say about, being mindful about what we're posting on social media. If we didn't meet on Sunday, what would we post?
Great thought exercise.
Yeah, and so for whether it's Instagram, and we're talking specifically about Instagram here, or Facebook or whatever, it's not enough just to spend the first half of the week pointing back to the Sunday that just happened, and use the second half of the week pointing ahead to the next Sunday that's going to come. You know, we have to be a lot more intentional with what we're posting, and increasing our posts on Instagram to 3 times a day is really going to force us to start asking these questions. Okay, what are we posting and why are we posting this? It'll result in us posting more meaningful content, engaging with our community in new ways, you know, and asking, you know, how can we pray for you today? That's a great spiritual question. People engage with that.
And that one's not too heavy.
No.
That's a perfect question.
Yeah, but asking them about the Olympics, that's not spiritual, but it's fun, and people engage with that too. And so that's what this is all about. So it's great.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, our next question comes from Cassie, and she says, how in the world do you get rid of the glasses glare when doing 3-point lighting?
The reason I selected this question was because knowing you were going to be my co-host and a photographer who likely has some experience in studio lighting, I would love to hear your thoughts, and then I will add mine.
Okay.
You were unprepared for this, so
hey, no, that's okay. Cassie,
you are the man with the cam and the studio lights.
That's true. It's a great question. 3-point lighting is a great technique, and for anyone who doesn't know about it, a simple Google search will help you. It's a really great technique to shoot portraits, to shoot headshots, some really dramatic lighting effects you can get with using three lights. Shooting with glasses is always going to be a struggle. Whether it's still portraiture or if you're doing a video piece like an interview for your church or something, it's always going to be a struggle. There will always be glare. So I have a couple tips. First, you have to be okay with breaking the rules, basically. And so you're going to sit your subject down, whether it's on a stool or they're standing on a mark on the floor, and where you would normally set your lights up, if you can see, you know, if your lights are completely glared on the glasses, on the frames, and all you can see is lights, you're going to have to move your lights. And so it's okay to break the rules. It's okay to move your stands from where they normally are, where you have your tape marks on the floor. It's okay.
Because traditionally in 3-point lighting, from the perspective of the host, the person being photographed or videographed, you would have 2 lights on 45-degree angles to the left and right. So that would be the traditional setup. You're saying, hey, move them around.
Yeah, it's okay to move them, and just a few inches will often do. It's going to be really hard to achieve no glare, to get rid of glare. Sometimes, depending on your situation, it may be possible. But start by moving your lights just a few inches at a time. See if you can minimize that glare. And my second tip, which has nothing to do with 3-point lighting, which would be try different lighting techniques that don't involve 3 lights. I am really enjoying and inspired by a local photographer here in our city, really enjoying trying to light subjects with 1 light. It's really hard and forces you to be really innovative and really creative, but there's actually so many creative possibilities and dramatic lighting effects you can achieve with just 1 light. And when you remove those 2 other lights from that 3-light technique, you remove you reduce your risk for glare by a lot. And so have some fun, break some rules, and don't be bothered if there is some glare in the glasses. Take note of other photographers' work, other films. You'll start to notice that there are glare in glasses in major feature films and major television shows, and that's okay because it's unavoidable sometimes if you're trying to light somebody properly, but there are ways that you can minimize it and sometimes altogether avoid it.
Yeah, so for me, my best tip would be experimenting with the angle and height of the lights, and inversely, the angle and height of your camera. So I've found that it does take some experimentation, but you can usually find the perfect angle, especially when you're using 1 camera. You add multiple cameras, it becomes exponentially more difficult. But I like to first move my lights up and then angle them down.
For sure.
You know, you don't want to do upward lighting because you'll create like some gross, looks that way.
Yeah, you'll see 8 chins.
And if you put your lights too high, then you'll start to get like shadows underneath like, eyelids and underneath the neck. But if you find the sweet spot, move your lights up and then angle them downwards a bit. The lighting is still flattering. And then if that doesn't remove the glare, a lot of the times if you raise your camera or lower your camera and then angle it slightly different up or down to compensate for the height raising or lowering, you can find the sweet spot.
Yeah.
The key is, once you've done the work, and it'll probably take 5-10 minutes to find it, remember it, take photos, mark it on the stand so that you can easily set it up again next time. And then all of Alex's tips are also great. We're filming the Ask Brady Show and every single episode of Pro Church Daily in our boardroom, and there are 0 video lights set up, 0 photo lights. We've got on this side of the wall, I'm pointing to my right, your left, there's a giant wall of windows.
Yeah.
And we film at a certain time every day, usually 12 to 3 p.m., where we know the sun is not going to be on this side of the building.
Right.
So the lighting changes will be minimal. But the lighting changes do happen. And sometimes Jonas has to compensate for that in post. But we are able to do this, not have any glare, because there are no artificial lights, only natural light. The setup is quick and easy. Another thing that you can do is if you don't have a room with great lighting, and any natural light will do. Even if your light source isn't this big, you can use a single light and then a reflector on the other side.
sure.
We call this in video like the single window video lighting technique, which
Yeah.
creates a more dramatic look. You can also shoot at magic hour. So in the evening, in the morning, get an app like Rizon, Rizon. It'll tell you based on your coordinates and your time of the year exactly when magic hour is.
Yeah.
That's when the light is lowest to the horizon. So the lighting is very flattering, natural, 100% free.
Yeah.
So many different options to work around this. Just experiment.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, question 3 comes from Adam, and he says, "Hi, Brady. Our church has a weekly email we send out. It has graphics, and we are using MailChimp to produce it. Our church, people have become dependent on all information being communicated through this one means. The result is that email has become kind of long. My senior leaders then, in addition, ask for email reminders to be sent out the day of events happening. It's a smaller church. I've been experimenting with trying to reduce the length through using a Google Calendar to communicate dates, but we have not pulled the trigger on it. We've included Bible readings and a prophetic word. We are a charismatic church, but decided to discontinue the word because people stopped reading them, probably because the emails now contain way too much stuff. We are now considering making a video blog or devotional. Any ideas or recommendations? What content do you think should be in a church's weekly email, and what is a waste of space?"
Thanks for the question, Adam.
Yeah.
This is a classic too much of a good thing conundrum, where you had something that was working, and so you kept doubling down on it. You kept doubling down on it, and it sounds like, based on the feedback and response of your own congregation, is you overdid it a bit. The great thing is you had something, and I would argue still have something
Right.
that works. I was having a conversation with someone on Facebook this past week, and they're like, here are the 18 ways that I get information out at my church. They're like, and everyone says they still can't ever find anything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you poor soul.
Yeah.
This is just really tough. You've got something that's working. Now you just need to supplement it so that you don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
Now, the fact that you're using email and it's working so successfully is just a testament to the power of email.
Yeah.
You know, we think that email is probably the second most important platform for your church communication-wise after your website.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, I would take a bunch of the content off of the email, offload it onto your website, and use that as your single central hub, next step call to action for everything. If you're using something like Nucleus, the framework for that will support this in a great way, where you can have a card on your Nucleus dedicated entirely to, you know, the prophetic words and the declarations. You can have a card dedicated to events. You can have a card dedicated to, you know, scripture passages, message notes, devotions, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you can figure out, okay, we've found through testing and the analytics, it sounds like you've sent enough emails probably to have some data on this already. We found that emails that are this length
Right.
perform significantly better than emails that are much shorter or much longer. I've been experimenting with this with the Pro Church Nation emails that I've been sending out. I've been writing really, really short emails that are very mysterious and curious. So like the one I sent out last week was, well, hey there, Alex. I hate to break this to you, but millennials just aren't ready to be pastors. And then there was a link. Why millennials aren't ready
Right,
to be
that's
pastors.
it.
It's 3 sentences. Click-through rate was wild.
Yeah.
One, because I called out millennials.
Right.
And everyone loves that.
Yes.
But also because that type of email has so much curiosity baked into it that it is begging you not to click it. It's like, I dare you.
Yeah, you didn't
defy you.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't answer everybody's questions before they had the opportunity to ask. You posed the question and then gave them the opportunity to click through and find the answer.
And that leads to what I was going to say next. There are a number of different ways that you could structure the email. If you want, and your pastors are insistent on this, you could still include every section that you're already doing. Well, let's say you have 8 sections in the email. And right now, every section is like multiple paragraphs.
Right.
Just have a heading, 1 or 2 sentences, and then a link to a card on your Nucleus or a page on your website to learn more, right? So it's like, the prophecy for this week comes from Linda, and then a little description, and then a link to see the full thing.
Yeah.
Now your email acts more like a newsletter where it's kind of a compilation of the happenings at your church. The flip side is you could focus and dial deep into just one thing.
Yeah.
So you could, this is probably like, this is not probably this is definitely the better way to go if you want to maximize your click-throughs and engagement. Might not be the best when it comes to the church politics or what people are expecting, but it has been proven again and again that when you focus on a singular idea in the email, it disproportionately performs well compared to a bunch of different things, compilation style, where it's like one. Just focus on one thing. So maybe you spend the entire email on that single declaration or prophecy, and at the bottom you just put a PS for everything that's happening in the life of our church. Head to our website, and then on the website you can find everything. The macro idea here is that your church's website should be the one-stop shop for every single thing that's happening in your church. That's why we built Nucleus. It's a new kind of church website builder.
Yeah.
Every single thing is there. And you don't need to have a mobile app. You don't need to print a million bulletins. You don't need to have everyone call the church, talk to a pastor, email someone in the church. Everything's on the website.
Yeah.
And that way, you almost take the responsibility and burden off of you. And this was, to go back to how I started this response, the issue with that other person. They were doing email and social media and bulletins, and they were, just an endless list of communication channels within their church, and people were still coming up to them and saying, I missed this. I didn't see this.
Yeah.
And what I said to this individual was, is your website the fallback and the default response every time someone asks you this? Because if I was that person and someone came to me and said, I didn't know this event was happening, I'd be like, oh, we post every single thing you could ever need on the website. Did you check that? And I wouldn't say it in such a snarky tone because, that wouldn't be very effective.
Right.
But that would be my default response. But just so you know, everything pertaining to the life of our church is available on our website. When your website does its job, and if you're using Nucleus, your website's going to be doing its job. It's going to have all the advanced features that you need. It can accommodate every single thing that your church could want to do when it comes to information and next steps.
Yeah.
And then that's why we think the website is the most important thing. From there, you can supplement with email. You can supplement with social. You can supplement with the bulletin. But that's what's so great about having a website that does its job. It's the default. It's the fallback every time.
Yeah, email is great. We love email.
Love some email.
And like you said, after your website, we believe that email is the second most influential form of communication between you and your members, you and even, somebody you've made a connection with for the first time, they've given you their information. It's the second best way, but it all points back. Whenever you communicate through email, it all points back to that central location, to your website that has all the answers to your questions. And I love what you said about, giving a little tease and, writing the first part of the prophecy and then click here to continue reading. I have a friend who lives on the other side of the country. I don't go to his church, but he sends out a weekly church email every week. I read it top to bottom every week, not because I love him, but because it's a really well-crafted
He does a great
email.
job.
Yeah. And so if you put in the work and craft, and there's a lot going on in those emails. He's talking about a lot. There's a lot of things going on at their church, but he does such a good job of breaking it up into small digestible bites and then pointing to an external source if you want to take that next step, that I'm not overwhelmed. And like I said, I don't have any personal investment. I'm not going to his men's retreat, but I still read the emails because they're so good.
Yeah.
And so it's such a great form of communication. And I would really recommend that you like you said at the beginning, it seems like you found something that was working. Go back to what you were doing, hone in on those emails, craft them a little bit, modify them a bit, and you're going to find great success.
Love it.
Awesome. Question number 4.
The last question
comes from Katie. She says, what can you do to get more DMs? Large question, but what kind of story or Instagram content will increase that type of engagement?
On episode 20 of Pro Church Daily, we talked about one weird strategy for gaining more Instagram story views.
Yeah.
And that weird strategy was getting DMs that are sent to your Instagram, annotating them, making them anonymous, and then posting them to your story.
Yeah.
So just today, I did this. We were talking about The Greatest Showman movie and the difference between how critics received the movie and how the audience received the movie.
Okay.
And I was getting a ton of DMs on it. And this goes back to our earlier comment on using cultural phenomenons and current events to launch material on top
Right.
of. Everyone's talking about Greatest Showman. I saw it way after the date. People are still talking about it.
Yeah.
I saw an opportunity to leverage that and create meaningful interaction.
Right.
Now what I did was I made that timely with the medium I was using in a native way. I got DM from someone. I would take out their name and their picture. I would annotate it with the native Instagram story text property builder, post it to my story. That's the weird technique that is being referred to by Katie in this question.
Yeah.
how do you get more DMs? Maybe if you're like me and everyone, is upset about your takes on millennials, they'll send you DMs. Truthfully, all of our Instagram DMs are amazing.
Yeah.
Unlike YouTube comments, which are mostly a barren ground.
It's a different thing.
That's just all YouTube, though.
Yeah.
Love y'all, YouTube. Point being, one thing that you can do, and this is a little controversial, shocking,
Okay.
is
Maybe you'll get a DM about it.
is manufacture DMs to thus prime the pump and get the snowball rolling when it comes to these types of interactions.
Okay.
What I found is the more that I post DMs annotated and made anonymous on Instagram, the more DMs I get. Because it's almost a form of social proof, showing, look at all the conversation that's happening in the DMs.
Yeah.
Are you a part of this?
Right.
That's the social proof aspect. But if you have no one to begin with, how do you get
Where do you
started?
start? Yeah.
I'm about to reveal something I've never revealed before.
Wow.
This is a crazy episode of the Ask Brady Show.
Lots of hot takes.
When I first started Pro Church Tools almost 5 years ago, I had 0 followers,
I know exactly what you're going to say.
0 readers, and 0 commenters. I feel like now is an appropriate time to reveal this.
Yeah, you're far enough removed from it. It's okay.
I had 1 reader, and the reader was my mom.
Yeah.
My mom has an English major, and so she edited all of my posts. I was not a good writer. She significantly edited a lot of my posts. I'm much improved nowadays.
Yeah.
And at that time, comments on blog posts were a very important form of digital currency.
Right.
Nowadays, not nearly as important. We've got Facebook groups, we've got social platforms. But back in the day, blog comments were a huge big deal. And it was one way to prove that people were reading your content. And again, adding social proof, saying, hey, this is someone worth reading. Look at all the interaction. So what I would do was I had my mom create 3 to 5 fake accounts on Discuss, our comment thread software, men and women, old and young. And then every time I'd post, she would jump in, log in, comment, log out, log in, comment. Sometimes she'd have conversations with herself.
Oh my gosh, your mother's a saint.
And this was actually a tactic that I learned from, an online business or a blogging course. The shocking thing that happened was it worked so well.
Look at us now.
0. That's the singular reason this Pro Church Tool succeeded.
Yeah.
But no one would comment. And then my mom would jump in. And then I would get her 2 or 3 comments, and then I'd get 2 to 3 more.
Right.
And then that would just repeat, and the snowball would continually go down the hill, get bigger and bigger. Eventually, she didn't need to comment. And now, she comments as herself.
Right.
Only.
Yeah, she's an honest woman now.
Mom, I'm sorry I revealed this. The Pro Church Nation, this is one thing that you can do with the DMs.
Yeah.
Manufacture them, send some DMs yourself, or better, get your fellow pastors to send DMs,
course.
get your spouse to send DMs, get your friends to send DMs, and prime the pump, get that snowball rolling. And once that social proof exists, once the concept is validated, once the other followers see all the interaction that's happening in the DMs, manufactured or not, they are going to be that much more likely to jump in and do the same. It is a tactic that is rarely used, probably because of some of its ethical implications. But at the end of the day, I think it's one of the best ways to stimulate real conversation, real interaction, and real community, even if it does require a little bit of manufacturing up front.
Yeah. And like Katie said in her question, she mentioned Instagram stories, and we produce some really great Instagram stories in-house. Brandon, he's the Instagram king and produces really great content, but you don't have to produce great content like Brandon to post a good story. As long as you're posting stories, you're kind of opening that door for DMs. It's much easier for somebody to be swiping through stories and see that send message prompt and respond, whether you are doing something, meaningful with your day and it's something that somebody wants to respond to and it's very cool, or you're just doing something mundane and somebody wants to chat with you about it. Posting Instagram stories and sharing your life, kind of pulling back the curtain and inviting people into that conversation is really going to help. Just being present on the platform all the time will kind of leave that door open for people to click send message and start that conversation.
Also, manufacturing fake comments.
Yes.
I noticed you kind of sidestepped that, Pastor.
Yeah, no, you. I think you talked about that just about enough. And,
okay. Well, that'll do it for today's episode of the Ask Brady Show. If you want your question answered in an unethical way, make sure to send in your question to hello@prochurchtools.com.
Yes.
Send in a video. You'll be sent immediately to the top of the queue. Or #AskBrady on all the platforms. Posted as my mother, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Here's another revelation. The Ask Brady Show has never had one real question.
I was just going to say that we can honestly say every question on this show has always been authentic.
You thought, no, but Pro Church Nation sent in videos.
No.
My mom, I neglected to mention, yes, she has a degree as an English major.
Yeah.
She's also a world-class costume designer.
Yeah.
We love you, Pro Church Nation.
Yeah.
Go seize the 167. We'll talk soon.